smash the like button on your way into the stream. Also, we had some very lovely people join the channel today. We had a massive boost from last night's stream. Everybody loves a bit of Jack Grealish. We got an enormous amount of teacups joining our crew, so thank you very much to those people who have only recently joined us. Hopefully we will start to see some of them in the chat. If not, maybe they'll be in the comments after the stream. But thank you guys very much for being here. And of course, my phone is not on silent, because why would it be? Well, why would I be organised like that? Of course, thank you very much to our OGs, our originals, our regulars. I see already we've got Mama Flossie in the chat with Away the Lads, and we have Ray Ray in the chat as an Arsenal fan. He's not going to be feeling United, is he? So Ray Ray says United are due some bad decisions and Newcastle are due some good luck, but the football gods aren't always fair. What I will say, there's probably a few of yous that are agreeing with Ray Ray on that one based on the Cunha decision against Crystal Palace. However, I will just say we have had some really dreadful decisions go against us as well. Not quite as many as Newcastle. I think Newcastle take the biscuit this season for decisions that have gone against them. However, we have had a few that haven't exactly gone our way. But lads, I'm going to build the suspense a little bit before I get to Manchester United and Newcastle. I, of course, want to talk about the mighty Wolves, who beat Liverpool, who are on 2 wins in a row, who I have said were better. And actually, to be fair to Ash, he has agreed with me on this part. We said consistently for weeks and weeks on this channel, Wolves are performing better than the points are showing. They've been unlucky in some of those matches. Some of those losses could have been draws. Some of those draws could have been wins. They've certainly been performing much better than the points on the table would suggest. And now, finally, they have got some wins together. The fact that it's against Liverpool makes it so much sweeter than if it was against anyone else. Bottom of the table, Wolves, who had the most woeful start to the season, have now beaten current reigning Premier League champions, Liverpool. Isn't that just lovely? You know, things to just make you happy. And Mama Flossie is saying, FYI, you got that prediction right. Tell you what, lads, don't ask me for the lotto numbers, because it's probably the only 2 predictions I've got right all season was Wolves to beat Villa and Wolves to beat Liverpool. So eventually, as Ash told me, if I kept saying it, eventually I was going to be right. But you know what? I could feel it in the water. I could feel it, like that girl on, what was that film with Lindsay Lohan? And she could just feel it. But yes, Wolves have done an unbelievable job. Rob Edwards took an enormous risk when he left Middlesbrough to come to a side that was essentially definitely going to be relegated. They had lost, and I've written this in, I've done some maths before the stream today, people, because I knew we might not have time for my slow brain when we were already live. So I did it in advance. I've been very prepared today. I got home in time from work, and I've been sat here like a good child doing my maths. So Rob Edwards came back to, because to be fair, he was a coach at Wolves previously. He came back to Wolves from Middlesbrough on the 12th of November 2025. Now, I did before Rob Edwards and after Rob Edwards, okay? Kind of what we did with Jack Grealish yesterday. It was quite interesting, so that's what I've done with Rob Edwards as well for Wolves. However, what I've written in my notes, because I was too lazy to write all the full name the whole time, so I've put RE for Rob Edwards, but every time I read it, I think of religion, like RE in school. So when we were in school, you would have all the subjects on your timetable, and RE for us was religion. So now I have before RE and after RE, which feels like it has some sort of religious symbolism now. But if you see me laughing at my notebook, it's because of my own writing. PFC TV is in the house. Thank you for being here, my dear. You are happy with the starting 11, which means the official confirmed lineups are out. I will read those out to the chat, and then we will come back to Wolves for a moment. But since they're out fresh, let's read them. Newcastle starting 11, Ramsdale in goal, Trippier, Chow, Byrne, Lewis Hall, Jacob Ramsey, Tonali, Joe Linton, Elanga, Gordon and Harvey Barnes. Obviously Elanga, formerly of Manchester United, so if anybody's going to do anything tonight, clearly it's going to be him, because our previous players love to come back to haunt us. Danny Welbeck does a bit of that sometimes as well, so we'll be keeping our eyes on Anthony Elanga tonight. For Manchester United, we have in goal the sensational Senne Lammens, who should be in with a shout for signing off the summer. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if you don't like Man United. Senne Lammens has been unbelievable for us, and I am not going to stop singing his praises. But in the outfield positions, we have Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire, who are both back from illness, not back from injury as we thought. Illness. And to be fair, Voltemada is not in the starting lineup for Newcastle because there was also a bug in their dressing room. So apparently that bug is getting about all over the place. Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire have managed to recover in time. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately for us, unfortunately for Newcastle, Voltemada has not. So we have Luke Shaw, Lenny Yoro, Harry Maguire, Nusser Mazraoui, which means Dallo is not in the starting lineup. Go on. Go on. This is what we want. Well done, Michael Carrick. To be fair, I'd have swapped Lenny Yoro for Aidan Heaven. I don't know why Aidan Heaven is suddenly out in the cold. I like Lenny Yoro. He's a young man. He's going to improve. But as it stands, he's just like, he's not doing particularly well. Aidan Heaven was doing well when he was in the lineup. I don't see why we're not starting him, but Yoro's there and I hope he has a good match. In the midfield, obviously we have Casemiro and Menu because we're not going to play Ugarte, so we kind of knew what that was going to be. Then we have Cunha out on the left, Fernandes and then Mbeumo on the right and Sesko up front, which means Ahmad is still out of the starting lineup. And to be fair, that is probably the right thing. That is probably the right thing. But it's nice to have Ahmad. Ahmad is quite a decent player, but he has stuff he needs to work on. And I think he was having a few bad games in a row. I think he needed to be coming out of the starting lineup. I think it'll do him good. But also it's nice to have him on the bench, that if we do need a little something different, we can take him off and we know we've got somebody there with a little bit of something, you know? So I'm actually overall really happy with that lineup. As I said, the only change I would make, I would swap out Lenny Yoro for Aidan Heaven. It's nothing personal with Lenny Yoro. I just feel as it stands, Aidan Heaven has performed better this season, and I think you should be given starting positions based on performances. So that would be the only change I would make. I am absolutely over the bloody moon that Diogo Dallo is not in this starting lineup. Nusser Mazraoui is a better player by a country mile than Diogo Dallo. Absolute country mile, and we need that defensive capability because, as we know, Newcastle are a very good team. So I'm quite delighted with that lineup. To be honest, I'm also quite happy that Voltemada, even though he's slightly out of form, I am quite happy that he's not there. I see Wissa also isn't in the starting lineup, which is unusual. Was he is not struck out with the sickness. Is he on the bench? Wissa's on the bench. Okay, so that's interesting. They've chosen to start, well, I say they, Eddie has chosen to start Gordon over Wissa, so very interested in that. No, Marv, sorry. Marv there is saying I would have started Mazraoui over Shaw, at least Dallo crosses. Do you know what it is? I couldn't give a toss. I couldn't give a toss if he crosses. He can't defend. The man cannot defend. His primary job, he's a defender. His job is to be a defender. I don't care how good he is at crossing. And to be fair, Marv, there's loads of people that agree with you. When at the time we had to make a decision between selling Aaron Wan-Bissaka or selling Diogo Dallo, we knew one of them had to go. I wanted to keep Aaron Wan-Bissaka and let Diogo Dallo go because to me, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a better defender. And the thing is, his main role is defending. It's the same for me with the goalkeeper. I don't care if he's a ball playing goalkeeper. Is he a goalkeeping goalkeeper? Can he keep the goal out of the net? If he can play the ball with his feet afterwards, that's great, but it's a bonus. It's not his primary job. For me, Mazraoui is a defender. He defends. So I understand the point, and I know many people feel the way that you do. It's not my take. I think Diogo Dalot just is not good enough, and I think Luke Shaw, while he drives me demented with his injuries, is a 10 times better player than Diogo Dalot. So we're playing a really difficult team at their home ground. The atmosphere is going to be unbelievable. We cannot afford to not play our best team. So I think it's important that Dalot is the one that is dropped. But I don't think you're the only one that thinks that way. So it's probably good that you said it, because I'm sure other people will be thinking it as well. I see Gary is in the house. Good evening, Gary. Did I say hello to PFC TV? I did. Lauman's my favourite player, PFC TV says. He's bloody up there at the moment. PFC TV agrees as well. Ahmad is a good sub to bring on if we struggle tonight. Completely agree. Marv also said, Shampers, come on Wolves. What else? Yes, PFC TV, we are going to go back to laughing at Liverpool regarding their loss to Wolves. And let me see, Nathan is also in the house. He snuck in there with an all caps hello. How did I not see him getting in there? Yes, Nathan, the same ball playing goalkeeper was the reason that we let David De Gea go. David De Gea, who could in fact save goals. It's incredible, isn't it? Incredible how we let a goalkeeper that could save the goals go for one who could kick with his feet, apparently. So my thing is, be able to do your primary function. If you can do other things on top of that, fantastic. You're superstar. But I need you to be able to do your primary job first. Like Sesko, I need him to score the goals. If he can do other things, sensational, score the goals. Laumans, save the goals. Like, do you know what I mean? Defender, defend the goal. Midfield, move it forward. You get what I'm saying. Do your primary function first before you start trying to add on. Walk before you run. All of those adages, you know what I mean? Streets is also in the house. Guys, I am going to come back to Newcastle United in just a moment, because we do just need to finish up on Wolves, because I'm so proud of them. And I just want to give them their flowers, because everybody else is suddenly, have you noticed, all the people on social media, all the YouTube people, everybody's suddenly on the Wolves bandwagon. Well, we have been on this bandwagon for at least 2 months. Actually, we've been on it since before Christmas. Lads, we've been on this bandwagon from the very, very beginning. So, you know, make sure you're checking tickets before you let people on the carriage beside you. But I wanted to have a little look before RE, after RE. So, before Rob Edwards came in, Wolves had a 0% win rate. They had won no games whatsoever. They had exactly 2 points from 2 draws, okay? Pre-Rob Edwards, 0% win rate, okay? After Rob Edwards, their win rate has moved up to 16%, which, to be fair, doesn't sound like a lot, but from 16%, to be fair, is actually quite a lot. Marv has another meeting. Marv, do you ever not have a meeting? I'm starting to think that your bosses sync up your meetings with my streams at this point. But yes, so it took Rob Edwards 9 matches to get his first win when he came back to Wolves as the head coach of the first team. And it took Wolves as a team 21 matches to get their first win of the season. However, now they have got their first win of the season. They've actually had 2 wins in their last 5. Gary, great point. Absolutely correct and right. And you know what, it is a different subject, but it's very important. Now, I can't put your comment on the screen because I'm not in StreamYard today. I'm in OBS and I don't know how to work this doohickey. But Kate and Jimbo, so for those that don't know, our lovely Kate and Jimbo, they're Spurs fans, but if you just type Kate and Jimbo into YouTube, you'll be able to find them. Everybody is welcome there. While they're Spurs fans, the chat is quite mixed. It's similar to mine. Their chat is very, very mixed. Fans from all different fan groups. But they're doing a charity stream on Saturday from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. They're going to be streaming for 12 hours for a fantastic cause. They're going to be, it's for a mental health charity that they are associated with. All kind of funds, anything raised on the stream will go to the charity. They are partners with this charity. They raise funds for them regularly. I'm actually going to be on the stream with them. I'm going to be with them at 12 o'clock on Saturday, but they are going to be doing an absolute marathon from 10 to 10. If you've any free time on Saturday, pop in, say hello. You'll see lots of familiar faces. As I said, I'll be there. I'm sure Flossie will be there at some point. Marv will be there at some point, I'm sure. Obviously Gary's going to be there. Shem that we see will be there. I'd imagine Streets will be there at some point. So we'll see lots and lots of familiar faces. They have a lovely channel and a lovely chat. Paige that comes into us, she'll be there as well, no doubt. Jessie that be in with us sometimes, she'll be there. So there'll be a lovely good crowd. If you've any spare time on Saturday, do pop in and just say hello. It's for a really, really good cause. And great point, Gary, because it would have went just completely out of my head. So thank you very, very much. Yes, Nathan. The chat distracts me. So I try and do serious football analysis, and the chat distracts me. Not Gary, other people with your nonsense, with beer and everything. But yeah, and Mama Flossie has shared the link in the chat for anybody who maybe hasn't been on Kate and Jimbo's channel before. I see Nathan saying that he will be there, so we look forward to seeing everybody in the chat. Yes, you do need to have a word with the Marv, because it's just, I genuinely think they're starting to do it on purpose. Every time I have a stream, they're giving you a meeting. Not acceptable. So you let me know. I'll send off a wee email if you want. But yes, so we'll finish up just on Wolves there. So Rob Edwards has taken them from a 0% win rate all the way up to a 16% win rate, and they have won 2 of their last 5 games. Now, when you compare that to Liverpool and Arne Slot, the current reigning Premier League champions, they have only won 3 of their last 5. So Wolverhampton Wanderers, bottom of the table, have won 2 of their last 5 games. Arne Slot and Liverpool, current reigning Premier League champions, have won 3 of their last 5. And just to say, Arne Slot has only got a 46% win rate so far in the Premier League this season, which for the current reigning Premier League champions is absolutely abysmal. If you're a Liverpool fan, you're fuming. I can understand why they all want him sacked. 46% win rate for the current Premier League champions. Absolutely disgraceful. Their loss rate, because obviously you've got draws, their loss rate for the season so far, Liverpool, 32%. Liverpool have lost 32% of their Premier League matches so far. A third, basically. They have lost a third of their Premier League matches so far. Absolutely disgraceful. You'd be so embarrassed. So embarrassed. Love it. Love to see it, and I love that it was Wolves. However, that's my gloating done temporarily. I'm sure we'll talk about it again. I just wanted to give Wolves their flowers and have a little bit of a laugh at Liverpool. But back to tonight and the matter in hand. We have Newcastle, Man United at St James's Park. Now, I have some facts and figures because I'm a little bit nervous about this, so I looked up some things that would make me feel better. No Man's Sky Clippy says the last time we won, we being United, at St James's Park was October 18th, 2020, a 4-1 victory. We must manifest. Well, I have some stats that are a little bit happier than your stats, to be fair. Oh, lovely. Paula will try and pop in when Little Miss... After her dancing, when she's maybe having a little nap after, although to be fair, that girl has so much energy. Nathan says, Sabozlai is such a great player and a great last minute winner by him. No Man's Sky Cliffy says, Rob Edwards is better than Eric Ten Hag from Feyenoord, that bald fraud at Liverpool. To be fair, agree. Street says United, United, United. Flossie hits back with away the lads. We are 55 minutes from kickoff. So, United are currently unbeaten under Carrick. Maguire and Shaw are back in the starting lineup, which is fantastic for us because we need that experience. Mazraoui is starting over Dallo, which can only be good for us. And since Carrick has taken over as the interim manager of Manchester United, we have won 6 out of 7 games and drawn 1 to the mighty West Ham, which means we are unbeaten. We're unbeaten, I believe, in 11 now. It's the longest unbeaten run in the Premier League and the second longest unbeaten run in Europe, which obviously makes for good reading. Yes, let me put the lineups back on the screen, and I'm going to try and make it that you can see both, so people coming in maybe that didn't see them when I read them out can get a look. Now, if we take a look at Newcastle, and I do apologise, Flossie, because it is quite United-centric, but you know, all's fair in love and football. If we go to Newcastle, they have obviously been hit in their dressing room with quite a serious bug, to the point where Voltemada is literally ruled out of this match because he has been so unwell. They have never, and I've said this more than once this week, Newcastle have never won a game without Bruno Guimaraes since he signed for them. Now that's Premier League games. So he signed for them 4 years ago. And they have not won a single game that Bruno G in the Premier League has not been involved in since he signed for them 4 years ago. That is incredible. I mean, if I'm Bruno G, I'm like printing that out and walking around with it. I'm getting it like a neon sign. I'm unbelievable. That is a sensational statistic. Now, I'm not like a stat type of person, but I find some of these little like facts quite interesting. That's unbelievable. He's out until April. I mean, that's not good. I mean, if I'm a Newcastle fan, if I'm Flossie or Ash, that makes me really nervous. Flossie says he's your talisman. He absolutely is. That is incredible. So up until January, you had only ever played 10 games without him. And then obviously you have played the few since he got injured. So I think he's at 12 matches now that he's not played in 4 years, and you haven't won any of them. So that fills me with a little bit of hope. I'm sure the kind of, what do you call them? The neutral, I was like the non-Newcastle and United fans, the neutral fans, I would imagine we're hoping to see Bruno versus Bruno. I have to say, as a Man United fan, I am thoroughly delighted that that's not what we're going to be seeing. What I would also say is that Newcastle are coming off the back of 3 home losses on the bounce. Obviously, St James's Park, the atmosphere, you're away from home, it's a fantastic stadium, it fills you with nerves. The fact that they are 3 losses on the bounce at home makes me feel positive. Now, what maybe if you're feeling a little bit nervous, you might say, is all things come to an end. It could be the end of the unbeaten run for Carrick. It could be the end of no wins without Bruno G. And it could be the end of a string of losses at home for Newcastle. They might be about to turn absolutely everything around tonight on its head. Clearly, I'm hoping not, but they might. I mean, if you told me Newcastle win, if you told me it was a draw, if you told me United win, I would believe all of those things. Based on the things I've just read out, I give us the edge. Newcastle have an awful lot of injuries. They have an awful lot of injuries to key players. They're not having a good time of it at home. Carrick, I don't think what Carrick is doing will work in the long term, but as an interim, it's very, very successful. And to go as long unbeaten as we have is really, really, really good. Like, to say it's the second longest in the whole of Europe, it's obviously really, really good. So, I mean, I don't think you can just put all of that in the bin. So based on the facts, I would give us the edge. Based on football not being played on paper or per facts, I would say Newcastle have a very good chance of beating us. So for me, it really, really, really is like a massive toss-up. Now, Flossie, since you're here, Flossie is so consistent. She's always on the stream. She never misses anything. So I want to be fair to Flossie as our Newcastle fan in the chat. So I'm going to go to something that'll make her feel a little bit better than all of the things I have just said. These are the head-to-head matches between Manchester United and Newcastle in recent times. Now, I'm just going to stick it to the Premier League. So, if we go, the last match we played against each other, United won 1-0. But before that, it was Newcastle, United, Newcastle. So, in the Premier League, Newcastle have won 3 out of our last 5 meetings. If we go in all competitions, I think United, Newcastle, United, Newcastle, it works out exactly the same. If we go at Newcastle, so at St James's Park, we have Newcastle, draw, United. So, in every scenario, Newcastle have won 3 of our last 5 matches, okay? So, if you're Newcastle, that is something that will give you hope. However, I am hoping all of the other facts are going to overrule that. I think this is a very, very good test for Carrick. I do not believe United are going to go unbeaten for the whole rest of the season. At some point, somebody is going to beat us. I think there are teams it is acceptable to lose to and unacceptable. Obviously, you always want to win, but we have to live in the real world and where we're actually at the moment. And I do believe that, you know, at some point somebody is going to beat us. If it has to be somebody, if we have to lose, I would rather lose to a respectable team like Newcastle at St James's Park than Wolves, you know. It's not for everybody. But no, to be fair, I love Wolves. I'm so pleased for them and I hope they continue to do well. But I think this match is a fantastic match. It's a really, really good matchup. I think it's a really difficult one to call. I think it's going to be lots of fun on Friday with me and Ash, regardless of who wins. If it's a draw, it'll be less fun, unless there's some contentious decisions. Ash might not be talking to me by Friday. If we get some mad decisions because the referees go against Newcastle, Ash might just go on strike and refuse to come on the stream with me. But yeah, regardless of who wins, I think it's definitely going to be a lot of fun in the chat here. But let me see what you guys are saying about this, because obviously people are I've clicked the bloody lineups off the screen. I'm a dope. Hold on till I put them back for you, so anybody popping in will just be able to see it. But let me see, what are you saying? Street says Cunha starts. Damn, we miss Dorgu. We really, really, really miss Dorgu. For me, Dorgu is now a left winger, and I think we need a left back in the summer. I hear a lot of people talking about we need a left winger. I don't think we do. I think we have Cunha and I think we have Dorgu out there. I think both are very, very, very good, and I think we really, really, really miss Dorgu since he's got injured. I actually think we need a left back, not a left winger. I don't want to see Dorgu back in the left back. It didn't suit him. He was so much better on the wing, but we definitely miss him. Street says, I love Cunha, but this is the type of game he would be better as a super sub. Potentially. However, I would be starting him over Ahmad at the moment, which is what Marva's saying, and I agree with that. What are we saying? Streets forgot about Ahmad. I mean, that probably tells us where we're at. And No Man's Sky Clippy agrees, we need Gareth Dorgu back. That is the one. Flossie is saying the town centre is buzzing with fans. Do you know what, Flossie? I hope they're all well behaved, because do you see, before a match like this, it's absolutely lovely to have that buzz about the place, to have that kind of build up, to have that atmosphere. But sometimes with football fans it turns a little bit sour, so hopefully that isn't the case and it continues. I just hope there's no nastiness. I hope neither set of fans embarrasses themselves, and I hope they I hope it is. It's just a jovial atmosphere, if you know what I mean. Streets is saying Gordon is as a false 9. Yarrow has got to be on his toes. Like that, I hope Yarrow has a good performance, but I really, really would have started Aiden Heaven. Again, just based on performances. Flossie is saying it's a tough one to call. It is. Marv is saying we need Ballandorgu. We do. Let me see. No Man Sky Cliffy says, what do you mean? We are second half invincibles. Carrick at the wheel. 21 is coming this season. 95-96 season levels off clutch. No Man Sky Cliffy has gone full Delulu. I thought I was the craziest person on this channel, but I think No Man Sky Cliffy might have just overtaken me. Flossie's saying it's always good banter and laughs, very rarely any trouble. Well, I hope that stays the case, Flossie. Now, the way they're doing the matches a little bit funny for the midweek games. They did it the last time we had the midweek games as well. So just kicking off now, Aston Villa versus Chelsea, Brighton versus Arsenal, Fulham versus West Ham, and Manchester City versus Forest. So what I'm going to do, folks, because there's some proper good games and I know people want to watch them, I know people want to get stuck in, watch the first half of one of the other games and then get stuck in at 8:15 when Newcastle United kick off. So I am going to sign off there. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. The best of luck to everybody. Obviously, Mama Flossie is saying away the lads. I'm saying come on United. Friday is going to be fun. I'll be back here tomorrow 7 o'clock to have a little chat before tomorrow's match, but we're all really just looking forward to Lou versus Ash on Friday and the outcome of this game. Get your likes, get subscribe. Everybody here is subscribed, let's not be crazy. Anybody who maybe is watching it back afterwards, do make sure you're subscribed, notification bells turned on, enjoy the football, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much for being here.